standing by, eating a little lunch right now. We're going to chat with them a little bit later. And then we'll have Ottawa American Legion board member Luke Queen stop by. Luke's going to talk to us about a big weekend the organization just had this past weekend with a couple of events, one on Saturday and one on Sunday, and just a great time for a lot of American Legion players and past players and board members and everybody else involved. So we'll tell you about that with Luke here in just a little bit. And then before we close the show today, we'll talk about the coverage of Arrows baseball you're going to hear all weekend on KOFO. They're at the Patriot Classic in Fort Scott, and some of that coverage starts very early tomorrow, so we'll tell you about that as well. As always, we invite you to join us here live at Pizza Time. They always take good care of us. They'll take good care of you if you stop in today. The lunch buffet in full swing right now. The special today, 2 large single-topping pizzas for only $20.99. So stop in and take advantage of the special or the lunch buffet, or if you just want to beat the heat, because it is kind of scorching out there, you can come on in, grab a cool beverage. The pizza's warm, but not as hot as it is outside. But come on in and grab a cold beverage here and join us here at Pizza Time. You can stop by the booth, ask us questions to the coaches if you'd like to, or anything you'd like, just stop by and see us. And if you want to sponsor Ottawa Arrows American Legion Baseball on KOFO or the Coaches Show, you can do so by calling 242-1220 or email us at KOFO@KOFO.com. We're going to be joined now by Coach Lance Fuller Jr. here of the Ottawa Arrows American Legion Ball Club. And, Coach, as you make your way over here, we are in the dog days of summer. It is hot, and it is baseball season right in the middle of things. So glad to have you here today. Appreciate it. Since we last talked, you guys have been a little busy. You only had a couple of games in between there, but you've been busy with a lot of other activities. Let's go back. Since we last talked, that next day you hosted Chanute out of Drake Field in a doubleheader. Came away with a split in that one. Dropped that first ball game 14-8. Came back in the second one, though, to win with a big 9-1 win. Give me some takeaways and insight on that Chanute ball game, even though that's been about a week ago. I'm sure it's still right there in your memory banks.
Yeah, I had to kind of think about, back to that date. Kind of forgot, a little bit about it, but I think game one we just gave up too many errors, and we didn't hit as well as we can. Came down to pitching and defense, and kind of thing. It's been the forte all year.
What we talk about every week, isn't it?
Yep.
It really is.
We gave up way too many free bases. I think we walked or hit 16 or 17 guys.
That's a lot.
So
tough to win a ball game doing that.
Yeah,
as you found out.
Oh yeah.
14-8, dropped the first one, but it came back in the nightcap though with a big 9-1 win.
Yeah, and I think we threw wide that game, and he did really well. He came out throwing strikes, quite a few strikeouts, and ball put in play, but it was down. Anytime you can keep things down and get ground balls, it definitely helps us out. And like I said, we made the plays that had to be made, and we hit the ball a lot better that game.
So you come away against Chanute with a split, so that takes the record as we stand right now to 7-11 overall. You've got a couple of big tournaments coming up. You've only got really one regular season doubleheader left, but you got a couple of big tournaments here over the next couple of weeks, and we'll talk more about those here in just a little while. But as you look at those tournaments, you're going to be playing teams from Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Arkansas. I mean, you've got some quality ball clubs they're going to be facing. What are your goals as you go into these two tournaments here for this ball club?
I think it's just a chance to, kind of see what we're made of. I mean, it seemed like we play around the same handful of teams, and so get an opportunity to see somebody from out of state, kind of see what they bring to the table. Just another chance to get out there and play. That's the biggest thing, and maybe improve our focus and kind of get our minds right for zone. With having a tournament, it's you're playing to get in that bracket play and just have the opportunity to come away with a win in the tournament. So. I look forward to just kind of seeing how the guys play, and kind of also come as coaches, how we're going to do our pitching. Just kind of, what number do we want them set at as far as the pitch count, and then just, who we want throwing wins. So.
Do you use these as basically like a template maybe for going into zone and who we're gonna start, who's gonna have this many pitches, how we gonna do that? Is this kind of a test for that?
To a degree. I mean, we and Coach Altic have a pretty good mindset as far as who we want throwing win. We kind of have our aces of the staff, Aiden Michael. Just, having him play for varsity here at Ottawa, I kind of know what he's got. And, he's been our best pitcher all season. So I think it definitely helps, because with the amount of games in a short amount of time, it does get you ready for zone and kind of how that will play out. So.
Well, let's talk about, you mentioned Aiden Michael. He's here with us today, going to join us here in just a little bit. He'll be a senior at Ottawa High School this year. He's got a couple of wins on the season. He leads the team in strikeouts. Talk to me a little bit about Aiden as a coach. What do you see in a player like Aiden, and what do you appreciate that he does for you?
He's a pretty competitive kid. He wants the ball when when it's his turn to pitch. He wants it, and he'll come get you. I was just talking to him before, I got a chance to look at the stats. He's probably walked a few too many guys that we like, but at the same time, he's able to, battle and, definitely do his part as far as throwing strikes and, getting out. So he's pretty competitive.
And he's a big kid. He's a good presence out there on the hill for you, too.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I mean, you get a big kid like that, competitive, you can maybe intimidate a few here and there along the way. So we'll talk to Aiden here in just a little bit. We talked about tournament play. You talked about zone coming up. Tell us a little bit. I know that's still down the road, but I know that's got to be somewhat in the forefront of your mind. Tell me a little bit about what you think about now, knowing zone is close at hand.
It's near the end, but like I said, I think the teams that are in it, we've seen all but one of them. I think it's us, Topeka, Oskaloosa, Leavenworth. I want to say that's the 4 teams, and we've seen 2 of those 3. Give us another chance at possibly playing Topeka, which they kind of have our number at the moment. Obviously, we have the last 2, but it's just it's one of those things like this is the season. Kind of play to this point, kind of be at your best, ready for the postseason. That's the funnest part. So, do you think? And I'm sure in the back of your mind, about these tournaments coming up, you're thinking, thank God we don't have to face Topeka or Emporia anymore for a little while. So, yeah. With these tournaments coming up, where do you see your ball club as you head into these? Like we said, we've got some talent, obviously, going to be at these tournaments, and pitching is crucial. But the mindset of this ball club right now, as you head into these 2 weeks of tournament play. I hope it's just an extra focus, just to be able to say, okay, we don't have much room for error, because in these tournaments, especially the way this one's set up, to where you need to probably win both games to be in bracket play for going into Saturday. So, being able to focus on what your job is at hand, everybody, like I tell them all the time, you have a job yourself, and we need to take care of that. You can't control what your second baseman's doing, but you can control what you're doing on the hill or, in center field, whatever. I kind of preach that. You have a job to do your job. If we can all do our own job, we should be pretty good. Well, good.
We're hoping the focus is right there because you got a tournament action tomorrow morning, and we're going to talk about that tournament here a little bit later in the show. The good thing is you're going to beat the Heat with those first 2 games, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. We'll take a break. We'll come back, talk with a couple of players. We've got Aiden Michael here today. We've got assistant coach Kyle Altig as well from the Post 60 Ottawa Arrows. Come down and join us at Pizza Time. You're listening to the Ottawa Arrows American Legion Baseball Coaches Show on KOFO.
Hello, friends. Dr. Bartholomew Periwinkle again here in the Pizza Time Laboratory, where this time I've created the world's first pizza duplicator. You place a delicious Pizza Time pie here, press the button, and you get 2 pizzas. Hey, who are you? What do you mean, who am I? Who are you? Get out of my lap. You're the clone.
Let Pizza Time make you 2 large single-topping pizzas for just $20.99. Follow at Pizza Time Pub on Twitter or like their Facebook page. Pizza Time, 208 South Main Street in Ottawa, or at your door by calling 785-242-TIME. Always free delivery.
Hi, this is Mary at Maggie's Gourmet Popcorn and Glazed Nuts. Having a 4th of July party, family gathering, or other celebration, your guests will love our popcorn bar. From 2 to 8 flavors, 50 to 300 guests will make your party a tasteful success. Maggie's, 230.5 South Main, online at maggie'spopcornandnuts.com.
Hear that? Horse hooves on parade. The cheers of the crowd. The roar of a 1965 Shelby Daytona Coupe. Our events and venues attract visitors from all over the county and from all over the country. Car shows and farmers markets, parades, fairs, theater performances, bike and hiking trails, collegiate sports, and things in between. Franklin County has it covered when you're looking for places to go and things to do. Franklin County is living. Visit franklincountyks.com.
Don't miss Macy's July 4th sale. Get up to 70% off with our lowest prices of the season on furniture, mattresses, and rugs. Get a Radley sofa, our lowest price, $589. The Monroe Queen bed, lowest price, $289. Or a Macy Bed Classic Plush Queen mattress for our lowest price, $297. Plus, get free white glove delivery with any outdoor furniture purchase of $979 or more. Save now at Macy's July 4th sale. Savings off regular prices, exclusions apply. Sale ends July 8th.
The Firestone 30-day buy and try guarantee. It's the guarantee that means if you're not satisfied within the first 30 days of your tire purchase, Firestone will refund or replace them. No one is more committed to the quality of their tires than Firestone, and we stand behind everything we put our name on. Because while finding the right tire isn't always easy, choosing the right name should be. Find the right tire for you at your local Firestone retailer. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Limitations and restrictions apply. See FirestoneTire.com for full details.
KOFO, the Franklin County Fair Board, and Bob Allen Ford proudly present Travis Marvin.
She's hot wired.
Travis Marvin rocking the arena at the Franklin County Fair, Friday, July 20th at 8 8 p.m. Tickets are on sale now for only $10 at DIY Supply, Kansas State Bank at 236 North Main, CMI Lumber, and online at Eventbrite.com. Bring the whole family to see Travis Marvin at the Franklin County Fair, July 20th. Brought to you by DIY Supply, Dingle & Son, Dials Construction, Bob Allen Ford, the Franklin County Fair Board, and KOFO.
And welcome back to Pizza Time in downtown Ottawa for the Ottawa Arrows American Legion Baseball Coaches Show. Derek Chappell, glad to have you along on this Thursday edition. Again, we're coming to you on Thursday because of the early Royal start yesterday against Milwaukee. So we had time today to bring you the full show. And part of the full show today includes Aiden Michael, one of the Ottawa Arrows and main presence on the mound, if you will. Aiden, thanks for coming by today and joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Glad to have you here today. Now, we were talking to Coach just a little bit. You didn't hear this because you were over there eating, but we were talking to Coach just a little bit before you came over, talking about some of your stats. You've got 2 wins on the season. The important stat, I think, is that you lead the team in strikeouts. Now, we'll talk about the W's here in a minute, but as far as the strikeouts go, do you see yourself as a strikeout pitcher when you're out there? I mean, are you one of those that I'm going to strike this guy out, or I'm just going to let him put it in play and let my defense back me up?
Yeah, no, I definitely like strikeouts over ball in play. It makes me feel better. I like to think of myself as more of an overpowering pitcher. I definitely, with strikeouts come confidence, and the more confidence I have, the better I feel.
Well, I've seen you play not only baseball, but I've seen you on the basketball court as well. And that competitiveness that I've seen in you, I can see that in you as far as I don't want him just to hit the ball and get out. I want to strike this guy out. So, and you know, as big and tall as you are a pretty good presence on that hill up there. So there is some intimidation factor. Now, one thing Coach mentioned, though, when we talked about, he was looking at the stats and we talked about your strikeouts. He said, I see too many walks, too many W's on there as well. Where do you attribute that to, and where do you see that coming into tournament play here that you can help kind of eliminate some of the walks?
A lot of it is on more of me, I think. A lot of kids see me when I throw, and I don't know if they don't want to swing. Possibly it's that, so they lay off and make me work harder, which I don't like as a pitcher. I want you to swing. But the other thing is sometimes you start thinking too much. You get going, you start thinking about your mechanics, and you really just need to calm down and throw.
And that's why, as teams scout you over the year, you know, they say, hey, if we can make him throw some pitches, get in his head a little bit, he's the kind of player that if we take a few, he's going to throw some balls, throw some walks. So the key to that, I believe, obviously, for you is getting ahead in that count so they can take those pitches. Is that right?
Yeah, start off early
and get ahead of that batter so you can get that done. Now, we mentioned a little bit in the break, I was talking to you about your hitting, and you said don't talk about my hitting. But, you know, with tournament play coming up, and like Coach said, in these tournaments you're going to be facing the next couple of weeks here, you know, getting out early, getting runs on the board, things like that's going to be important. So have you worked a little bit extra on hitting, or how do you see yourself as you head into these tournament play with the bat in your hand?
Right now, hitting is definitely a struggle. Honestly, I don't understand why. I just can't seem to hit the ball, I guess. Like, I think it's a mind game.
Well, knowing you like I do and like we talked about, you're probably still thinking about that last pitch you threw in the last inning and you're up to bat, and that ball coming at you doesn't mean as much as when you get back out there with that ball in your hand. So, well, listen, we know you're probably going to be pitching tomorrow. You got an early start tomorrow morning, and obviously, well, hopefully that'll beat the heat. You feel good about tomorrow, and you know you're going to be facing some really tough teams. You got some teams from Illinois, from Missouri, from Kansas, from Arkansas. You're going to face some stiff competition. Doing anything different as you head into the tournament? Anything different with your pitching?
You got to calm myself down and start off from the top. Know my stuff works. I love playing at Fort Scott, so I don't have to worry about the field. I love the mound. Pitching there's fun. So just remembering that and seeing myself deliver will help out.
Well, good. Well, we'll be anxious to hear how things go. We'll be listening here on KOFO, and good luck to you, and we'll maybe talk to you next week and see how this went down at Fort Scott, all right?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Aiden Michael from the Ottawa Arrows AAA Ball Club joining us today over the lunch hour, and we're joined now by assistant coach Kyle Alty. Kyle, glad to have you in. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let me lower that mic a little bit. Aiden's a little bit bigger than the both of us there. You heard Aiden talking about his pitching, his hitting, things like that. Where do you see, first of all, Aiden, as you guys go into this tournament tomorrow, as your pitching ace at this point, where do you see him on the mound, and where do you see him at the plate?
As far as pitching goes, Aiden is, like you said, our ace right now. We have a few good arms. Aiden is throwing well. His hitting is, like he said, it's struggling.
I think the word abysmal came to mind, but his face lit up when I asked him that when we were off the air, and he kind of looked at me like, "Oh gosh, don't talk about hitting. I'm a pitcher." But he's got to be able to put some bat on the ball. He's got to be able to get up there and help the ball club as well on both ends. But really, where he's helping you is on the mound.
And we're playing well right now. That's the main part. I mean, we're finding places for people to go as far as positions go, and it's working out for us.
Well, now's the time of the season you want to peak. You're heading into a couple of big tournaments. You got zone kind of staring at you here in a week and a half, 2 weeks down the road. Where do you see this ball club overall right now? Even though the record's 7-11, given how you guys started this season, like you said, you've kind of been on a roll, got some more wins going. Where do you see the momentum of this team or the attitude of this team heading into the tournament this weekend?
I think we're looking good right now. We've, like I said, our hitting's picked up here lately. Our pitching has picked up here lately. Our fielding has picked up here lately. So we're looking good. Like you said, we've got some big games coming up. We've got the tournament this weekend, and then the fight tournament next weekend, or next week, I guess.
I was going to say, they're going to play a lot of games in about the next 10 days, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll have to watch our pitching and everything like that, just going into next week, and then zone the week after that.
Well, it sounds to me, too, like Coach and I were talking a minute ago, that first Chanute game, the first game that night, there were a lot of errors, a lot of hit batters, things like that. Those are mental mistakes that at this point in the season you got to wipe out as you head into tournament play going into zone.
Well, like you said, against Chanute, the first game didn't look very well.
Right.
That's how we kind of started the year.
Yeah.
And then the second game,
but you finished strong.
Yeah, the second game we brought everything back that we've been doing here lately, and that's good. That's
the key. If you go to these tournaments with like that second game of Chanute, not the first game, you guys will be all right. So eliminating those kind of Chanute first games, that would be a good thing. And like we mentioned with Coach, it's a good thing. You have to face Topeka and Emporia again. You don't want to see them again for a while anyway. So it'll be nice to see some, even though that may be tougher competition, some different competition.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, it's a lot of teams that we haven't seen.
Yeah. Well, so there's no expectation going in because you don't have a scouting report. You don't know much about these guys. You just got to do what you do best.
Yep.
And the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, thanks for dropping by today. Appreciate it. Glad to have you here. Sorry it took so long during the season to get you here, but we're glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
That's Assistant Coach Kyle Altick of the Ottawa Arrows American Legion baseball team. And we are at Pizza Time live downtown Ottawa. You can come down and join us still over the lunch hour. And when we come back after the break, we're going to talk to Luke Queen, Ottawa American Legion board member. He's got some interesting things to talk about, some events that took place over the weekend, and we'll rehash those and talk about those as well with Luke. You're listening to the Ottawa Arrows American Legion Baseball Coaches Show on 1220 and 103.7 FM, KOFO.
Your summertime fun is at Osawatomie's Lights on the Lake Festival this weekend. Tomorrow night, 7 until 9, it's the Miss Osawatomie pageant at the high school auditorium. Saturday, the big parade featuring Osawatomie native and former Green Bay Packer Lynn Dickey. Car show, ice cream social, games, and food booths. Cap off Saturday night with free concerts featuring Katie and the Boys, Hudson Drive, and Travis Marvin. At City Lake, followed by fireworks.
What does it mean that CarStar Ottawa has attained iCar Gold Class certification? It means we're qualified for repairs with the latest technology, which means you're safe when you get back on the road. Safety matters at CarStar Ottawa. Call 242-8916. CarStar, relax. We'll take it from here.
Franklin County, Kansas is now accepting applications for a solid waste recycling technician, high school diploma or GED, and valid driver's license required. Job description includes manual labor in the recycling center. This is a full-time benefit-eligible position. Apply online at hrepartners.com. That's hrepartners.com. Apply on or before July 15th. Franklin County is an equal opportunity employer.
It's not our everyday sale at Kohl's. Friday through July 4th. Shop hundreds of epic deals in-store and online. No coupons needed. Kids tops and bottoms, $7. Junior swim separates, $14.99. The big one bath towel or pillow, 3 for $10. Stock up, save big, and get Kohl's Cash. $10 for every $50 spent. Hundreds of epic deals store-wide. Kohl's Cash for you. Right now, only at Kohl's. Select styles. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
KOFO and State Farm agent Ryan Dispro are sending you to see the Kansas City Royals at the K this season. To win tickets, register at Ryan's State Farm office at 504 Redbud Avenue in Garnett. And you could be there to see the Royals host the Twins on July 21st and 22nd. 2 games, 2 winners. And we'll announce both on Monday, July 16th during the Brad Howard Early Morning Show.
Next offering is swung on and hit pretty well. Yelich off to the races. Still going back, and that ball is a goner.
Register now to see the Kansas City Royals from State Farm agent Ryan Dispro and KOFO.
And we're back at Pizza Time in downtown Ottawa for the Ottawa Arrows American Legion Baseball Coaches Show. No, it is not a Wednesday. It is a Thursday. We're glad to have you along here on a Thursday. Since we had an early Royals game yesterday, we decided to bring the show down to Pizza Time today. And we thank everybody here at Pizza Time for taking care of us like they always do. You can come on down, by the way. The lunch buffet is still in full swing, and it is cool in here. It is hot outside. So come on in, Pizza Time here. We've got plenty on the lunch buffet. They've still got the special, 2 large single-topping pizzas, $20.99. You can come by and take advantage of that today. That is in place even after we leave today, and our show will close at 1 o'clock. We are joined now by Ottawa American Legion Baseball Board member Luke Queen. And Luke, great to have you stop by today.
Well, thanks for having me here, Derek.
Hey,
appreciate it.
Glad to come by and feed you, that kind of thing. Hey, how long have you been on the board?
I've actually been on the board since 2001.
That's quite a while ago. Now, how long have you been involved with Legion Baseball altogether?
In general, I started as a player in 1996, played 96 through 98, and then spent a couple years as a coach, and then kind of got into the board side of it and been there ever since.
You know, with your dad's history in the Legion organization, you've been involved in Legion Ball since you were born. You just don't know that part.
Yeah, probably. That's more than likely the way it is.
Tell me a little bit about, for those that don't know, what does the board do?
Basically, our main focus is to try and take as much pressure away from the coaches outside of the field that we can. So, you know, all the finances and fundraisings and things like that, organizing, purchasing of uniforms and equipment, things like that, and that's our main focus. And then to let the baseball be decided by the coaches and stay out of their way. And
so there's an agreement. We'll take care of this part. Coaches take care of that part.
Exactly.
I know last year on the Coaches Show here, when Coach Brian Long was with us, he really appreciated what you guys do as a board, because you're right, it does take a lot of pressure off the coaches. They don't have to do a lot of the outside stuff so they can coach. I think that's been, and correct me if I'm wrong, but most important as well this year with Lance in place and a new coach on the field.
Yeah, well, you know, any transition, there's always some changes, and, you know, we brought Lance in to coach and try and take as much pressure off him as can, and it costs a lot of money to run a program, so keeping it just a baseball for him is probably the easiest thing he could do.
Well, you mentioned it costs a lot of money, and one of the things you do, and have done the last couple of years to raise money for the Legion organization, is the Pete Searfoss Memorial Golf Tournament. And it's been a great time for everyone so far. For those who may not know, give us a little history about Pete Searfoss and Legion Baseball.
Well, Pete, you know, like you said, my dad kind of had me involved in it since I was born. Well, Pete started long before that.
Right.
Pete was a player for Post 60. He coached many, many years, was really one of the biggest supporters that we've ever had. You know, and his family carried on the tradition. 3 grandsons came through and played.
Yes, they did.
And Pete was just always a part of it, and always at the park, or when the board formed. Pete was one of the founding members, and has really just been instrumental in everything that Post 60 baseball has always been about.
Well, yeah, for those of us who've been around for a long time, anytime you mention Pete Searfoss's name, Legion Baseball comes to mind. And in summertime, you know where you can find Pete. It would have been at the ballpark. So
absolutely.
So part of his vision before Pete passed was to have a golf tournament to raise money, and unfortunately Pete passed before that actually happened. And then you guys kind of picked up the ball and ran with it after that. Tell me a little bit about the golf tournament and how it came about.
Well, you know, like I said, Pete had thought of the idea many years ago.
Because it makes 2 of his favorite passions.
It really was.
Yeah, good idea.
Pete always told me that he, you know, would spend as much time at the golf course and the ballpark as he could, because he figured if that's where he left us, he'd be a happy man.
And that way Mary always knew where to find him, too.
Yes, absolutely.
So the golf tournament, you guys said, hey, let's pick this up and run with it, and it's been great the last couple of years.
Was this the
third?
This is just the second year.
Okay, second year.
And it really has been great. The first year we didn't quite know what to expect, but we ended up having 14 teams, and raised a good amount of money. And, this past year it got even bigger. I actually overbooked it because of my clerical error myself. We had 19 teams, but, it was a packed house out at the course, but everybody seemed to enjoy it, and really raised a good amount of money again this year. And, to keep Pete's name involved, and to keep the tradition going, it's probably something we're going to carry on for quite a while.
Well, it was great to see Janet Huddleston, his daughter, out there as well. And, of course, you mentioned his grandsons that have come through the program with Derek, Jake, and Brock. And I had the pleasure of being able to play this year. Last year I wasn't able to play. This year I was able to play. It was a great time on Saturday. And what I loved was you had a lot of old players show up. I don't want to say old. A lot of ex-players show up. Coaches as well. You had parents who were there that had players before. And you had some of the current players, manning the holes and manning the fields. And it was just a great time all the way around. I think everybody had a great time on Saturday.
It is. And we also had some local businesses that maybe not have been a part of playing here or anything, but they support it, and they came out and had a good time. And intermixing all of that together really, showcases more of the town as well as just the ball team. But, we are extremely appreciative to everybody that had any participation in it at all. It really was. It's fun for us as much as it is for everybody else.
Well, it was a great time. A lot of great golf, by the way, because my team finished 14 under, and we still got beat. And I thought, man, I thought we were doing great at 14 under.
You tied my team at 14 under, and we all finished in 5th place.
Isn't that crazy? So there were some good golfers out there, you might say.
There really was.
So proceeds from the event, where do those go?
They go right back into back to the ball team. Whether it be purchasing uniforms, baseballs, which are incredibly expensive anymore, equipment, helmets, catcher's gear, travel expenses. Whenever our boys go on the road, the board, we build that money to pay for the motels and for the food and for everything else. So, it goes right back to them, and we really give every penny that we make right back to the team.
That was great. And again, a great time on Saturday. Then you turn around on Sunday, you had an alumni game.
Yeah.
Tell me about the alumni game.
The alumni game is it's something that started as a kind of a quick off the cuff type of thing on a random Tuesday night in 2010. The boys had a break.
Tuesday, huh?
Yeah, they had it actually kind of started on Monday afternoon. The boys had a break for like 11 or 12 days before zone because of
the way the schedule worked out,
and stuff. And so Coach Herman at the time sent out a message and said, hey, let's throw a game together so my boys aren't just practicing against each other.
Gotcha.
And we had a good group show up, and we just have kind of taken it and kind of made it an annual tradition ever since.
Well, one thing about the Ottawa Arrows Ball Club and Post 60 have been competitive for a long time. And so once you leave that team, that competitiveness doesn't go away. So if you're an alum of the program and you get a chance to come back and play, you can just see the look on the face. I've seen it on yours. I know some other guys that have been like, hey, man, the alumni game's coming up. And a lot of guys take it serious. You got to get back there. It's like you want to show these young kids playing what you still got.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs, a lot of, commentary back and forth between each other.
Right.
But none of us want to go up there and look like we don't know what we're doing with the bat in our hand or when that ball's hit on the ground to us or what. So we play hard, but we pay for it the few days following.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun to do.
A lot of Advil being taken a few days after. By the way, speaking of having fun, I do got to ask you. I understand you had a little pickoff problem at first base. You want to explain that?
Well, I was distracted by a few different things, and Brian Long forced his way in between me and first base, and they did pick me off, but
it took you a while to get off the field, I understand.
I tried to state my case to the umpire as to why I should still be safe, but to no avail. But Yeah, I will say I might have been picked off, but I batted 1,000. That was I was 1 for 1 on the day with a couple walks. So.
Write that down.
Yeah, on base percentage and batting average of 1,000.
Write that down. Well, Luke, thanks for stopping by. I'm glad it was a great weekend for the organization and the ball club. Everybody had a great time at the golf tournament, alumni game, and thank you for all you do for the Legion program, of course, and the other board members as well. And we wish them well as they head into these 2 big tournaments this weekend.
Thanks very much for having me. We really appreciate what you guys do. The coverage KOFO gives us is unmatched, definitely, throughout the state. So we greatly appreciate you guys very much.
Well, appreciate doing it. Thanks, Luke. We return here in just a minute. We'll talk about our broadcast tomorrow morning of the Arrows from the Patriot Classic and the Fike Woodbat Tournament next week. You're listening to the Ottawa Arrows American Legion Baseball Coaches Show from Pizza Time on KOFO.
Here's your exclusive KOFO Weather Center forecast.
Royals Recap, sponsored by Frank Eye Center. Mornings, Monday through Saturday at 6, 7, 8, and again at noon on 103.7 FM and 1220 KOFO.
An excessive heat warning is in effect for the entire KOFO listening area. Today, sunny and hot with the high of 100, heat index of 109. Tonight, clear, the low 76. Tomorrow, sunny and hot with a high of 97. Tomorrow night, clear, the low 76. Your extended forecast, Saturday, sunny, the high 95. Saturday night, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Overcast with a low of 71. 90 in Overbrook, 90 in Osawatomie. At the Ottawa Municipal Airport, wind is out of the south at 8. Relative humidity is 55%. Barometric pressure is at 29 and 83 100ths of an inch of mercury. And it's sunny and 90 at KOFO.
Some of the luckiest people in America live right here in eastern Kansas. That's because we have something few others do. A local bank that's not part of a large conglomerate. Kansas State Bank. For 100 years, Kansas State Bank has remained your local bank. With bankers and tellers you're just as likely to see at church as at the bank. People you know, people who know you. When Glenn H. Hill started this bank 100 years ago, he was intent on creating a bank by Kansans for Kansans. And it's still that way today. It's truly our bank. Member FDIC.
For all your computer services and repair, call Don Hardman, 418-2331.
Is your post-harvest grain protected from the ravaging effects of stored grain insects? For pennies per bushel, operators can fight insects in stored grains. Grain protectants from Central Life Sciences, such as Diacon IGR, Sentinel EC insecticide, or Diacon IGR Plus, can help give you the long-term control of an insect growth regulator and the knockdown power of a broad-spectrum insecticide. Keep grain clean with grain protectants from Central Life Sciences. For more information, contact your local dealer or visit bugfreegrains.com.
People like me are powerless over alcohol, and if we could outthink it, outrun it, do whatever we needed to do, we could beat it, but we can't by ourselves. Everything I have, everything I've done, I owe to Valley Hope.
An estimated 88,000 people die from alcohol-related causes annually, making it the third leading preventable cause of death in the United States. For more information, visit valleyhope.org. Sponsored by Valley Hope Association and the station.
And we're back at Pizza Time, about ready to wrap up the coaches show for today. Before we do, we're joined again by head coach Lance Fuller Jr. And Coach, we've been talking a little bit about it. You got a couple big tournaments coming up. The first one tomorrow. You guys are heading down to Fort Scott. Mm-hmm. Now this replaces the tournament that was going to take place up at Mid-America. Correct. That was originally on the schedule. So this one takes place at that. You got in the Fort Scott Patriot Classic. And the good thing about the schedule tomorrow is you guys get to beat a little bit of heat because game one starts at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's early.
Right and early.
What time are you heading down?
About 6:30.
All right. So it'll be about 80 by then, so you'll be okay. Yeah. So first game tomorrow, 9 a.m., you play the Lamar Southwest Tigers in this tournament. First game. You don't know anything about them going in.
We do not.
But the key to that is you guys do what you do, right?
Yeah. I think that's what our focus has to be. You got to worry about what you can control, and that's yourself. Play how we play, and, give ourselves a chance.
I believe there are, let's see here, 13 or 14 teams in this tournament. So the top 8 records after tomorrow move into the championship bracket on Saturday. There's the consolation bracket as well. I believe you're guaranteed at least 4 games in this tournament. But you play Lamar at 9 o'clock, then you turn right around at 11:30 and play the Central Missouri Phenoms. Both of those games, by the way, are at Fort Scott Community College at Lions Field. Yes. So you're going to have back-to-back games, but again, you're going to beat the heat those first 2 games, and then you're done for the day.
Yeah. We just, if we can wake up and have have a little bit of energy, then, you know, that would be having to worry about, you know, overheating, you know, later in the afternoon or tomorrow evening. So it's nice to kind of wake up and play ball, and we'll kind of get past the sleepiness.
Well, you shouldn't have any excuses from the players about being tired.
Correct.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
so by the way, so tomorrow our Superstands Cleaning Service pregame show will start at 8:45 tomorrow morning, right at the tail end of the Brad Howard Early Morning Show. We'll start that at 8:45 with Gary Bateman bringing it to you. And then the Superstands Cleaning Service pregame show for Game 2 tomorrow against the Phenoms will start at approximately 11:15. We say approximately because when you set a schedule on a tournament, you never know after Game 1 when Game 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on are going to start. But their scheduled times are 9 o'clock tomorrow and then 11:30. Now, depending on what happens tomorrow, we'll have coverage, of course, on Saturday and then again on Sunday. So that's at the Patriot Classic in Fort Scott. So we've got ball games coming up all weekend long. And then you look next week on July 4th, you guys head over to Blue Springs for the Fike Woodbat Tournament. And you guys have one game on July 4th, and that game is going to be at 1:30, so it might be a little hotter in the day.
Yeah.
You're going to play a post-37 team at Blue Springs High South Field. Fike Woodbat Tournament, always a good time, always a lot of talented teams in that one as well. You're getting them from all over the Midwest area.
Oh, yeah.
And Woodbat's a little different. It's a little different kind of tournament, a little different type of hitting the ball.
Absolutely.
What do you see in your guys when you come to a Woodbat tournament that's different than you see them throwing the pings around?
I still think, like I said, the wood bat's a little bit different because, you know, the sweet spot's even smaller. But everybody's got to hit it. So, you know, it's another opportunity to see somebody a little bit different. And another chance, you know, like I said, in the past they've played there, and I've been told it's great atmosphere, great tournament. There's a lot of teams from all over. You know, like you said, Midwest.
Yeah.
There's even a team coming up down from New York, so it'll be interesting to see.
I had not seen that. Well, that'll be quite the experience. So that's July 4th. On the 4th, you guys play at 1:30, and we'll have that ball game here on KOFO. And then on July 5th, you guys play at a 3 and 5:30 time frame, so two games on Thursday the 5th. Then you got one more on Friday the 6th before you head into weekend play. So, again, a lot of games coming up here, even though it's not regular season time, it's tournament time, an exciting time for your ball club. And we wish you guys the best of luck tomorrow in the Patriot Classic. That's the 18 and under down at Fort Scott. Down at Fort Scott tomorrow. First games will be at Fort Scott Community College tomorrow, and then Saturday, if you move to the championship, you'll be at the LaRoche Complex, which is a great place to play.
Yes, it is. It's really nice.
There's some incentive for the boys right there tomorrow morning to do well. So, well, Coach, good luck. We'll have those games on KOFO, and we'll figure out, I believe we're going to be here next Thursday. We'll figure out games and coaching time, because I know you guys will be in Blue Springs, so we'll figure that out and bring you another coach's show, and we'll talk about all your success from the Patriot Classic at that time.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. We want to thank Coach Fuller. Thank also to Aiden Michael, also to Kyle Altick, assistant coach, Luke Queen for stopping by, and we thank Sean Torres for producing the show back at the station today. And we thank Pizza Time for helping us out once again and all their generosity to bring you the Ottawa Aeros American Legion Baseball Coaches Show. We'll see you again next week, and don't forget, tomorrow morning, 8:45 pregame show, 9 o'clock first pitch, as the Aeros take on the Lamar Southwest Tigers. Derek Chappell for KOFO 1220 at 103.7 FM.
Information and entertainment in East Central Kansas. KOFO K279CS Ottawa, where keeping you informed comes first.
Senate Republicans hoping to confirm a replacement for retiring Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy before the midterm elections. The White House is already going through a list of potential nominees.
The president says that list contains about 25 names. It was first compiled during the 2016 campaign season, but he says it was recently updated. The fact that the president is familiar with this list could mean he makes a selection fairly soon. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
On Capitol Hill, FBI Director Christopher Wray is pushing back against allegations from House Republicans that his agency and the Department of Justice have been withholding information about Hillary Clinton's email investigation and the Russia probe from Congress.
For months, we've been working with your committees to make witnesses available, answer questions, and produce or make available to you and your staff over now 880,000 pages.
That's Wray speaking before the House Judiciary Committee alongside Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. Also in Washington.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want it? No! What do we want?
Hundreds of women are marching, protesting the president's zero-tolerance policy that separated thousands of families at the border. In a Chicago courtroom this morning, a Brazilian mother argued for the immediate return of her son, who is in a shelter. The Justice Department has announced the largest ever health care fraud takedown. More than 600 people, including doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals, have been charged.
Health Secretary Alex Azar said the charges were filed across the country involving billing for unnecessary treatments, kickbacks for patient referrals, and prostitutes for prescriptions.
That's ABC's Aaron Katersky. The president is in Wisconsin today, breaking ground on a new technology manufacturing plant. It's not far from Harley-Davidson headquarters. The president has been critical of their decision to send some jobs overseas. You're listening to ABC News.
Need auto parts but can't get to a store right now? Head to O'ReillyAuto.com. Buy your parts online and pick them up in any of the 5,000 O'Reilly Auto Parts stores nationwide. No shipping cost, easy returns, and convenient pickup on your schedule. Shop your way at O'ReillyAuto.com. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's buy one, get one at your neighborhood CVS pharmacy with thousands of products to discover and hundreds of ways to save. This week, kick off your 4th of July barbecue with hot deals on family-size Lay's chips, BOGO free, and select sun care like Neutrogena and CVS Health BOGO 50% off. Restrictions apply. See CVS.com/weekly ad for details.
Visit CVS.
Online retail giant Amazon is giving employees the chance to start their own business.
Amazon wants more control over how its packages are delivered, so the company rolled out a program Thursday that lets entrepreneurs launch businesses that deliver Amazon packages around the country. The online retailer says you can lease blue vans with the Amazon logo stamped on it, buy Amazon uniforms for drivers, and get support from Amazon to grow the business. The entrepreneur will be responsible for hiring delivery people, and Amazon would be the customer, paying the business to pick up packages. Through the program, Amazon said it can cost as little as $10,000 for someone to start the delivery business. In return, Amazon gets more ways to ship its packages. Todd Ant, ABC News.
And a new lawsuit claims popular ice cream maker Hallow Top has been lying, not about calories, but about its containers. The suit claims that the company underfills its pints, and customers don't know how much ice cream they'll actually get. Finally, Facebook testing out a new feature called Keyword Snooze. Lets you hide posts that contain a keyword you don't want to see. David Wright, ABC News.
O'Reilly.
If your AC is blowing hot air, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Get immediate relief with Interdynamics R130